Good afternoon, all. My name is Oladele Ayorinde. I am happy to welcome you again to the Organ House, the Organ House concert and seminar series. Today is a new day. It's a new day in the sense that we are continuing, we are advancing on our initial conversation, dialogues, and exchanges. But today is unique in its own, in the sense that we are turning our gaze into another interesting area of our dialogue and series. So on that note, I'm happy to announce to you that today's series, today's conversation, and today's dialogue is centering on our digitization, organ house documentation and digitization project, which aims to map 100 years of Nigeria's sacred music culture in Nigeria and diaspora. And specifically today, we have started this initially through initial conversations, initial ideas, initial presentations, focusing on different themes in the last 100 years of Nigerian church music history. But today's dialogue is focusing specifically on the organ culture, the organ history, the organ tradition, and organ performance culture in Nigeria. Then the question is, can we have something, or can we make a claim for what we are calling the Nigerian Organ School? It's a question that by the end of this conversation, we can ask ourselves if there is anything or such claim is welcome to talk about Nigerian Organ School. While we are waiting for that, today I am happy to also welcome one of the long-standing practitioners, performer, technician, and we can call, like luminaries of Nigerian organ culture and, tradition. So I'm happy to welcome our big brother. We call him Prof. K, but I'm happy to give him the baton, to throw the baton to him, to introduce himself, and from there we'll continue for today. Sir, you are welcome, sir. We are so happy to have you here, and we are happy to have, for your kind of accommodation and willing to be part of this conversation. Kindly introduce yourself to our friends and colleagues online.
Good day, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much, Dr. Ayorinde.
Welcome, sir.
Prince Kayode Talabi is my name. Born to a Christian family of late Past Venerable Kayode Talabi from Ijebu in Ogun State.
Okay, that's good. We are still going to, we have a lot of conversation in pipeline. We have ideas that we want to negotiate today. But I'm happy, because we have one of the biggest voices. We are still going to bring more, experts, performer, those that have been, classified in a different, categories in the organ history and performance culture in Nigeria. But we are opening this particular layer today for a reason that you are going to, have a clear picture of by the end of this conversation. But one thing I want to promise you is that it's going to be enriching because there's a lot. I have had a kind of initial conversation with Prince Talabi, Prof. K, and I've seen a lot which will definitely propel or drive our conversation today from one particular angle to the another to other layers and different areas. Again, it's a dialogue. It's about story. It's about, it's about documentation and digitization. Perhaps before entering into the main conversation today, it's important to note and to invite some of us who are joining us for the first time into the context of this conversation. This conversation, particular today's conversation, is driven by three important projects, three interlinked projects, which share the same aims. The first one is what we call, which is a mother project, is called the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series. The Organ House and Concert and Seminar Series is a creative space, scholarly space, and a space where scholars, artists, performers, wherever you belong in the artistic realm, both as a scholar, as a theorist, as a composer, this place is for you. And what do we do here? The Organ House Concert and Seminar Series enables space, what we can call safe space, for artistic exploration, for creative dialogue and experimentations of impending ideas. Here, you are free to explore. You are free to experiment. That is what we stand for. And apart from that, the second layer, it is what we call the Nigerian 100 Years Digitization and Documentation Project, which shaped today's conversation. Why are we doing 100 years of Nigerian sacred music and organ or church music history? It's because of what we all know about current situation across the world. The new turn, which is the digital turn, or the artificial intelligence turn. I'm sure some of you have been following our dialogue around AI and digital humanities. What is clear and which is becoming clear to us is that the AI dialogue or digital humanities is privileging narrative from the West, from Europe and America, simply because the data that shapes AI and artificial intelligence or digital technology, they are material, they are data that are being curated from this part of the world. So it is also clear from the conversation and dialogues that we have little or no data that can feed artificial intelligence or digital technology. This is one of the reasons we are having the conversation and one of the motivation for the 100 years documentation and mapping project at Organ House. This third layer, which feeds into these first two, is what we call the AI music dialogue. Yes, we've been having a conversation around how do we take advantage as an African, as Nigerian, into the art, into the culture industry, or any, sub-field, sub-profession around music and art, drama, dance, depending on wherever you find yourself in this, huge ecosystem. Our concern is to start thinking, reshaping ideas and focus of how to take advantage of digital technology and AI in today's Nigeria and Africa. Then for us to do that, given what I said earlier about the absence of data from Nigeria, so the second layer, which is the documentation project, aims to open a space for storytellings, documentation, history, things that we take for granted.
Yes.
We are concerned, we want to document your composition, the history, from different angles, practices, experimentation. We are open for that. Not just open for documentation, we are also going to codify them in a way that they will be discovered by artificial intelligence and digital technology and be available to the world. I'm going to stop for a while there. Definitely, it's a conversation. It's a process. But let's come back to this project. So today's focus, again, is to engage the organ tradition in Nigeria. This is one of such. We are going to have many series in the next few months. Yeah. But today, I'm happy to welcome again our big brother. We call him Prof. K, Prince Kayode Talabi. So again, welcome, sir. We are happy to have you. Thanks for accepting our invitation.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ayorinde, and for this wonderful time, for this wonderful enabling environment. When we talk of documentation and digitization projects, especially Nigerian organ culture, and more so while celebrating 100 years of sacred music in Anglican church or church all over. Well, we have a lot to say and we have a lot to document. We have a lot to document for the coming generation. The reason why I say this, we need to document all this for the coming generation, for them to meet something on ground. Now, let me just start from late J.J. Ransom Kuti, the late father of our popular musician, Fela Anikulapo Kuti. Yeah, his father started the first recording of versicle and responses. Likewise, we have notable music luminary T.K.E. Philip of blessed memory. He is the first African man to score our versicle and responses. Oluwa iwo shiwa lete enu wa yo si ma fi rewon. This attribute is to him and to his family up to today.
Wow.
And that is what we all use in Western Nigeria. Yes, call to service, versicle and responses. So with the marking of 100 years of sacred music in Nigeria per se, we have a lot to discuss and we have a lot to celebrate and we have a lot to document. And talking of digitization of the project and documentation, that's a process, Doctor. And the process is very wide process, but we need to take it layer by layer.
Definitely. And that is why we have, I think we should move into the conversation. Let's move into the conversation and let's take it from one layer to open the layer one after the other today. So the first layer that I really want us to start with is, before the first layer, one thing that I also want to establish, which is very important, that more like a kind of anchor, ideas, is that the concept of organ, many of us, of course, and across places, even beyond Nigeria, people think organ is just for, yes, it's popular, is a musical instrument. Yes, it is understood within that realm. But one thing that is is glaring now, and what's becoming very, very obvious is that, particularly in Nigerian context, the organ is not just a musical instrument. Yeah, the organ shows a kind of dynamic that relates to, it opens us to economic, narrative, political narrative, and even issues around geography. Organ can help us navigate. Issues around storytelling, political economy, but for those in the social science. So it is quite germane to our everyday life, beyond just playing, music making. Of course, our entry point is the music making stuffs, genres, products, marketing, ways of supplies and ways of consumption and performances. That's the entry point. But beyond that, we are also interested in the economy. What are the products, particularly in the last 100 years, that have shaped our listening practice, the soundscapes of our churches, of the Nigerian sacred spaces? That's one. The other one is that it is a sphere of storytelling. Storytelling not just in documentation. When you move around some spaces across Nigeria, you see some interesting architectures.
Oh, yes.
Look at church buildings. We know organ in the earliest time, particularly let's talk about the earliest 20th century to mid 20th century in Nigeria.
Yeah.
The organ shaped the building.
Yeah.
So these are layers of interesting case that links not just only musical tradition, but also architecture, city planning, town planning, and how, cities are planned, in particular in the colonial era and to some extent, the post-colonial era. these are areas that we also want to explore. So let's go back into the conversation quickly. So let's move into the conversation, into the dialogue. So the first thing I would like us to explore together is the ideas around the organ itself as organ as a product, but you into that conversation. The question is, when did you start playing organ, and what really motivates you, and at the time you join the culture or start playing perhaps as a choir boy, what are the factors that challenge you, that motivate you, that yeah, why did you
Thank you so
join
much,
that
Doctor.
tradition? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I can as well describe my own as hereditary. Yes, hereditary in the sense that I belong to the Levites, Omo Alufa. You know, growing up in the vicarage in those beautiful days, running to the organ after the service might have ended, nobody to stop us, So I developed this interest, and as an overzealous boy, and while my dad too, at the same time being a priest, is also played the organ too as well. So as such, I developed that interest, one from my late dad, Venerable E.A. Talabi.
Wow.
Yeah, he started as an organist after his retirement from Nigerian Railway Corporation. Then thereafter, he has to go to the Bible school, theology, to become a full-time priest. So as such, I developed this interest at the early stage. Then immediately after my school certificate, then I was introduced to Pa Fayemi.
Okay.
Pa Fayemi lives somewhere in the Lupeju area of Lagos. Pa Fayemi handled many of the pipe organ in the whole of West Africa.
Okay, sorry, I pardon me. I need to quickly,
Yeah.
interrupt you a bit. Before moving to Pafayemi, Pafayemi is known for a specific dynamic, within the organ history.
builder and
Before,
organ
before
carer.
moving to Pafayemi, what was the organ tradition when you joined, and what year? Can you just give us a kind of, is this between these 1940s to 50s, 50s to 60s, or 60s to 70s? What is the
Precisely 1978.
1978?
1978, I started playing the organ.
Okay.
1978, I passed through Papa, late Bishop Shodikpe. I passed through Papa Fayemi. I passed through Pa Ebenezer Omole.
Okay.
These are all my tutor, my mentor then, and we started from a ammonium organ.
Okay, because I was just about to ask,
Ammonium organ.
what was the tradition at the time?
Yes,
Okay.
the tradition then was ammonium organ. An ammonium organ is the kind of organ used with leg to blow out the wind in order to bring out the sound.
Okay.
And it's only few Africans, few notable who can hold an ammonium in those days. And thank God, my father, I'm privileged to have a father who owns an ammonium organ.
Wow, that's great. Yeah. So then, was the ammonium organ the foundational instrument before the pipe organ tradition? Then obviously, before we transcend, we are going to explore each of these stages one by one.
I told this layer by layer.
Yes, exactly. So, what was the role of the ammonium organ at the time, and what was the function in the church? What were the approaches? What were the traditions around the ammonium organ?
The tradition then, ammonium organ was used to accompany the congregation, especially for the church that cannot afford the pipe organ as at that time. There is only few churches and big churches in the city that can afford the pipe organ. Many churches today started with ammonium organ.
Wow. Wow. Okay, then that's great. Thank you so much. So the ammonium organ, then we might need to find a way to, to further
describe.
explore this
Yeah.
idea of harmonium organ, because at least until the last 20 years or
Let me say
thereabout,
30 years back.
yes, we still have this
Harmonium
organ
organ.
across churches, but
Yeah.
parked somewhere at the back of the choir seat somewhere. Of course, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
remember that because I also learned.
Yeah, let me
through
just
that.
quickly shed more light on this issue of harmonium organ.
Okay.
Especially to many of this generation organists who doesn't even know what harmonium organs looks like. Harmonium organ is an organ that sounds through reeds,
Okay.
two reeds, and with the help of a mechanical wind
Okay.
through your leg, and applied the winds to the reeds. Now bring out the sound. Now, before the advent of keyboard, yeah, harmonium organ is the real thing in the church.
Wow. I am sure most of our colleagues online and friends can connect. And for those who are, hearing this for the first time, we are throwing the gate open to our friends and for those who still have harmonium organ. As part of our documentation project, you can reach out to us. We are open. You can donate your harmonium organs to us as part of this project. Please consider that, because this is very important. It is part of our church history. It is part of our political and economic history in Nigeria. So we are open to you. Kindly donate if you have harmonium organ for this particular purpose, documentation and historicizing Nigerian church music
History.
tradition. Yes. So please consider that. So let's move forward to the next step. So you started in 1978
Yeah, playing the organ.
playing the organ. What were the trajectories then to become an organist? What were the steps that shape or that defines, oh, you are now an organist? What are the processes that shape the production, of an organist?
Then, in 1978, you need to groom yourself thoroughly. We started with small wood then.
Okay.
You can't escape small wood. Then I didn't have access to play at the main service. I played at evening service. Well, many churches don't do evening service this day anymore. But then in our own era, I was forced to play in the evening service. We call it even song. Evening service, even song. It was mandatory then. You can't just escape it. After the matins, you have to come back to the church for evening service between 6 and 8. Then, so by that time, you need to be thoroughly groomed, ability to accompany him, ability to accompany chants, ability to accompany versicle and responses, ability to chant. All this, you need to be perfect in it. Then the day I was privileged to play in the normal service, the normal, we call it Martins in the Anglican church, which is 10 o'clock. Oh, it was a juvenile.
Which church was it? Well,
Then it was St. Paul African Church, Ilupeju.
wow.
St. Paul African Church, Ilupeju,
Ilupeju, wow.
along Coca Street, Idiaraba.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know how to describe my joy.
Wow.
I don't know how to describe my joy. To put me on the organ on juvenile harvest day. Being a juvenile, children's harvest, so let this young guy to go and play for us. And since that day, no going back.
Wow. This is quite interesting. Thank you. Then within 1978 and let's say 1985, 1986, or let's put it 10 years, within a 10 years bracket. Now, within 1978 and 1987, then you were, so what were the cultures? And even when you started playing in 1978, who were the mentors? Who were the people, who were the superstar in quote organists that people look out for, that people are trying to, aspire? Who were those, superstars? Who were they?
Yeah, the superstars then are quite many. We have J.T. Fagbenro,
Okay.
of blessed memory from St. Jude's Odiolo. We have Victor Ajayi. We have Pa Opakule, Salem African Church.
Okay.
We have Pa Thomas. These are the people we look out for. We have Papa Beckley.
Where?
Papa Beckley plays somewhere in Methodist Church, Palm Avenue. And when you see these gurus on the organ, it's like you are in heaven already. Yeah, we have shades of numerous of them to count.
Okay, from your point now, I think what is becoming clearer, although we're still in the process, is that every community, like regional or location, has their own layout. So from your own area, Ilukpeju, Odiolo, Mushin within the same axis.
Lagos Island.
Yes, Ebutemeta crossing to Yaba.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that is, we can categorize that area. And that covers everything around organ, the choir masters in these areas, including the CAC Yabas and all this. So there's a tradition tying people together in that area. Can we call that a school of thoughts?
It is. You're very correct. It is. Because it's like one big family.
Okay.
Anytime in those days where we don't celebrate choir anniversary, choir festival. So through that choir festival, it's like a carnival. A carnival we look towards to. Every church have their own particular day to mark their choir festival. So these are the things we enjoy in our growing up. Oh, the next week is All Saint Montgomery. Oh, the other week is for St. Jude's, Ebutemeta, Salem African Church, Bethlehem African Church, Bethel African Church, and so on. So many churches. So we look forward to attend this choir festival of a church then. And in order to boost our playing skill, our singing skill.
Apart from, the choir festival is quite important.
Very, very.
Definitely we are coming back to the choir festival. But apart from the choir festival, what are the unifying factors that, when you grow within this, we now call it the school of thought, within the Yaba, Ebutemeta, Mushin, Ilokweju, within, we can say Lagos mainland axis, like the Yaba, bringing it to within a particular enclosure right now. So what are the unifying factors that shape this kind of, this community of practice? What are the things that when you go to Odiolowo, you will notice? When you go to Ilokweju, you will notice. When you go to Yaba, CAC Yaba, you will notice. When you go to OHAS Memorial Across, you will notice. When you move to a place like also, there's another cathedral on that axis also. Okay, we have OHAS Memorial, then we have the CAC Yaba, then we also have, there's another one. The now Yaba Baptist Church.
Yaba
Baptist Church.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of, they're moving to Oyigbo. Williams Memorial Cathedral before the, railway. Then we also moved to the other side.
That is Agojaye.
Agojaye. To the other side, we now also moved to the St. Jude's. Ebutemeta.
At the other side.
Yeah. In fact, I'm not even sure if we should categorize this area within the school of thought of the Mushin Yaba, because they also embody another layer. Let's leave that. We'll come back to that layer. But what are the unifying factors that you could, remember as a, as a young organist? Things, because you mentioned that you go to choir festivals, and definitely from my own experience also, one thing that drives young, organists to choir festival is to go in search of new ideas, playing
new innovation, new creativity, new anthem, new tunes. So these are the unifying force that drag us, because a fẹ́ lọ gbọ́ nǹkan tuntun tó fẹ́ kọ lọ́dún yìí. What are the new things?
Repertoires.
What are the new things? We look forward to the new chant, the new tune, the new descant in particular. And these are the unifying force. Oh, àwọn eléyìí ti kọ́ ní last year, àwọn nǹkan ò tí ì kọ́. So we look toward for this. And another thing, it unified us as a youth then in a very strong term to enable to know ourselves richly and highly competitive. Oh, things a certain choir can sing, other choir too, we aspire. Highly competitive in those days.
Wow.
Highly competitive. Oh, àwọn àgọ́ ọjà yẹn wọ́n ti parí Samson oratorio, ibi ẹlẹ́yìn ṣì wà, Messiah ẹlẹ́yìn ṣì jókòó tì. So it's all challenging, highly competitive to meet up to the standard.
Then what is the standard at the time? Was it the ability to perform oratorio or ability to interpret these hymns and canticles and responses in a particular way?
Performing and interpreting it according to the wish of the composer.
So what were the popular oratorios that one, that you often, that are popular at festivals that people look out for,
Then there are quite many of them.
Oratorios, yeah.
Hiding,
Creation,
Messiah, Samson, Judas Maccabeus,
Wow.
and several other major anthems. We have a book called Church Anthem Book in series, I think book 1 to 5.
Okay.
The Church Anthem Book.
What about the Empire Anthem? Is it part of this
That
conversation?
one, Yekele, whatever. But when I talk of Church Anthem, we have a special book for it.
Okay. Then we are definitely coming back to this.
All right.
So let's move to the second layer, from the first one dovetailing to the second layer. Okay. The second layer is around the ideas of product now, which is quite important for this conversation, and particularly the current landscape or soundscape, we might say, or economics of church music, particularly the organ culture in Nigeria. So this second question is around, this is very important. So the second position, the question then is that, can you mention a few of the churches and the organ played, that are popular at the time, that are quite popular, I mean, in terms of products and types within let's say 1978 and 1987, that are quite popular at the time? What were these products? And who were? I'm talking also about the
Organist.
The Organist, of course. Then also, more importantly, the so-called organ supplier or organ merchant, or the organ merchants.
The vendors there.
Yeah, the vendors at the time. Who were they?
Thank you very much. Well, Lagos being a metropolitan city, there are various types of organ. We have organists and we have a lot of vendors. I remember Rosworth organ. Rosworth organ is a British organ. I remember clearly Harrison and Harrison.
Okay.
Also a British organ. I remember N.P. Manders.
Okay.
All these are British organ. And I can remember vividly, the Christ Church Cathedral is one of the leading organ then. Yes, under the leadership of late Yomi Phillips, that assisted by Mama Tolu Obajimi.
Okay.
And I remember this beautiful organ at St. Jude's Ebutimeta, now Cathedral. In the old church, that organ is one of the best organ in the whole of Africa. If you listen to the quality.
What's the name of the organ, please?
Rosworth organ.
Rosworth.
Willis organ.
Willis organ.
Yeah, if you listen to the sound of the organ, you will feel as if you are in heaven.
Wow.
It's there in the old church, now Cathedral, St. Jude's Cathedral, Butemeta, honestly. And we have churches like St. John Aroloya.
Aroloya.
Yeah, well, I have much to say on this church because I was privileged to be part and parcel of the team of people who installed the organ, even right from picking it from the pot. Yes.
Can you tell us, can you give us a few examples and cases where you've been part of and your own role in this huge process
Well,
of
thank you
installing
very
an
much.
organ?
Like I told you, yeah, I started my music career, technician, organ boy from Pa, Fayemi and Jones.
Okay.
You know, as such, I was exposed to so many organ, exposed to so many pipe organ. Please, let's emphasize, let's differentiate. There are organs and there are organ. We are talking of pipe organ now.
Pipe organ.
Pipe organ, not digital organ. I'm talking of pipe organ because many organists don't know the difference between pipe organ and digital computerized organ.
Wow.
Where I'm talking of direct pipe organ, the king of all instruments. Yes. So back to the St. John's Church, Aroloya Church, installed in 1984 by Harrison and Harrison.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then that year marked a turning point in organ business and organ industry.
How?
Thank you very much, Doctor. Yeah, I remember the dedication, the late Archbishop Adetiloye.
Yeah.
Adetiloye dedicated that organ in 1984. And there are so many drama involved during the installation of that particular organ. It's four-manner organ, honestly. And during the installation, the team, the crew that came all the way from England, yeah, I think there are about 5 of them, and supported by the local.
Okay.
So I always report at St. John,
Okay.
to give them their assisting hand. Then during the tuning of the organ is done in the midnight
Why?
because the area is a very noisy area, and the head of the crew insisted, and we have schools, we have market, you know, around the church. You know, we have Itagarawu and churches, so, and I mean school around the area of the church. As such, they cannot perfectly tune the organ. So I have to report in I have to sleep in the church after everything. So Mr. Mike, I remember his name very well, my good friend. I say I have his picture with me. We tune the organ in the midnight to get a perfect pitch.
What was this process like for you and
The
experience?
process of tuning the organ, one have to be on the console.
Okay.
While the man tuning will be right inside the organ chamber.
Okay.
Yeah, you move from one stop to another stop.
You mean the pipes?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We have the Salisonia, we have the Principal, we have the Roy Flute, all the stops, all the draw stops.
Yeah.
Each of them have their own direct speaking pipe.
Okay.
Direct speaking pipe, not imitation pipe.
Okay.
Direct speaking pipe. So once the tuner is right inside the organ chamber, the man on the console, give me C sharp, give me C1, and so on, until the entire organ is well tuned to give us well balanced concert pitch.
That's quite interesting, though. So, but okay, let's dwell in a bit on this tuning process and the Aroloya organ, story you are relaying to us today. And thanks for bringing up that anyway, because this is very important to, when we are talking about history, process that shape where we are today. So, but on the organ tuning, because the other time when you came in, you play a particular organ there, our organ, and you made some interesting comment about the sound. So, as an experienced organist, how do you determine if the organ you are playing is tuned
Tuned
or not tuned.
Thank you very
Because
much.
since we don't, the organ tradition, like as you have rightly noted, has moved to a different layers over the years. People might not understand this
This
concept of
tuning
tuning or not
aspect.
tuning. Yes.
Thank you very much. And I want to thank you, Doctor, for making reference to one of the organ. You know, immediately I touched the organ. I told you the organ is not well tuned. You know, as an organ technician, these are one of the things you need to learn or to be trained for. You need to train your ear.
That's my point. Does this have to do with the person playing or part of the instrument himself? Even I'm talking in the context of both pipe and digital organ now.
Both digital and pipe.
Yeah.
Your ear needs to be well tuned
Okay.
properly. When you get any discordant note, you will easily know, either on the piano or any given instrument.
Okay.
No, not necessarily on the organ or digital organ or pipe organ. Any instrument,
Yeah.
once you notice this instrument is not properly tuned, you will easily know. You will feel it. You will feel it musically. You will feel it that something is wrong without sound. And the other piano I played in one of the, I make a comment, oh, this is a well-tuned piano. You can hear it distinctively, glaringly, oh, this is a well-tuned piano.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be.
Okay, then from your own particular experience in the Nigerian organ story right now, was this, okay, you were part of the installation tuning process. Was this where you learned this encounter, when you encountered this part of the culture? Or before then, as part of your training across churches, your churches, was this part of the training?
It's part of the training.
Oh,
It's
how?
part of-
At what point?
Well, when you call yourself organ technician, we have so many aspects of organ. You need to get the pipe tune, the bellows, the blower. We have some categories of them. But if time permit me, I will dwell more about the formation of organ and how organ work through from the bellows, distributing the wind to all the chamber, giving out the sound, the required sound. The one going to the trumpet section, the one going to the mixture section, the one going to the principal, the one going to the gerard, the one going to saliciona. All these are stops on organ, and you need to really understand them. And that is where I said we still have a long way to go. Many organists don't know the usage of this organ stuff. Many of them just play it as noise.
I'm going to interrupt you again there. Why do you say noise? Now, again, coming to another point. In the organ training, I am privileged to, play around or grow within a community of organists. Some of them are online seeing us now. So the point is, one thing I notice is the idea of registration. Palettes.
Yes. Stops registration. In
particular.
Yeah.
What do you think about at the time when you were learning? What role, what aspect? What was the training? What was what we can say the indoctrination? How do you get to know about stops?
Thank you very
combination?
much. Because during our own time, I have a good mentor.
Okay.
Just somebody elderly to stay beside you.
Okay.
During any service. There's a particular stop you use for chant. There's a particular stop you use for versicle and versicle. And you see, most of our organists don't observe all these PP, MP, crescendo, and so on. We don't observe it anymore. Everything is polluted. Noise pollution. And for example, we're in Lenten season now. You can't expect a seasoned, well-trained organist to be using unnecessary loud stuff.
What about the notion of the last verse, the variation? That's a culture. I'm coming back to that, but let's quickly.
Let me quickly answer you. Variation of every last verse. There's nothing wrong in it.
Okay.
But there's modalities, application.
Okay.
modalities and what application. When you get to the last verse, you can do whatever you like. You can improvise, honestly, to a suitable standard. Your audience and your choir will be happy and understand you. What I'm saying is, Doctor, most of our organists don't understand the stop registration. We still have a long to go. Yeah. And the reason why, because we are a very noisy culture. You know, you emphasize much about this Nigerian organ culture, documentation, and these are the things we need to work on.
So, yes, that's the point. Then, my next point to you then, I am happy you mentioned, your process, ways in how you emerge into this culture and different layers that shape your becoming, your personality, identity as an organist. The question is, you are mentioning an important, point, something very crucial to contemporary, to start with.
Yeah.
Can you compare the kind of culture you have in the 80s, 90s to what we have now in terms of training and preparedness? Are people really prepared for today's culture? Some of the organ, do you think they are ready? They were well groomed with this tradition?
Thank you so much, Doctor. Let me tell you in a plain language, we are not yet there. We are not yet there. The preparation is not there. Compare during our own day. Everybody, present generation prefer shortcut.
What do you mean by that?
Everything quick, money of a thing. Everything money of a thing. You need to get to a certain level. During our own time, I finished my own small wood. From pali to pali. From A to Z. But once you are able to pick a chord down, every G canary now call themselves an organist. An organist that cannot accompany a chant, an organist that cannot accompany an anthem, an organist that cannot accompany a simple hymn tune. And we all call ourselves organists. And the kind of dedication and training then.
I think that's the point.
Yeah, let me clarify that. The commitment then, and the discipline of commitment there is tough. For example, you can't play rubbish near my dad. You can't play rubbish near my boss, Papa Fayemi. You will not know where the slap will come from. Is that what you see in your music book? Is that what you see in your notes? From nowhere.
But the question is,
because there are people to guide you.
Okay.
There are people to monitor you.
Does this take away the creativity of that young organist? Because now there's a place for personal inbuilt creativity,
Quite right.
But there's also a standardized culture that shapes people's creativity. What is it? Are there any connection between these two? Because there's personality.
There's no connection, Doctor. There's no connection. There's no connection in the sense that nobody to monitor them, and they are not ready to train. And music is a continuation, training and retraining. I was in Ghana the other day. Come. It's like I've never heard this tune Matradom. La 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 la. La 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 la. I was in their choir practice. They spent 45 minutes. Honestly, the diction, the pronunciation, the timing, the blending, the everything. Ghanaians are very particular about their pronunciation. In Nigeria, 45 minutes on one particular tone. Next, but there, I would just, what is going on here? 45 minutes on just on one song, one tune.
But at what time did we miss the real? At what time did we encounter this connection? Because from what you said, between the 1978 and let's move to the 90s now, at least to 1992, 1993.
Yeah.
Do we see, was the culture intact in the early 90s in terms of this upbringing, paying attention to details, performance, culture, learning the culture?
Everything diminished.
Since when?
From 90 upward, everything diminished.
What were the factors necessitating this disconnection?
The factor then, I would say, from the church.
How?
Thank you very much. The church are just too desperate. We shall more play. I think play. That is where the whole thing got lost and got missing. No more value for authentic musicianship. Authentic musicianship.
What's the idea of authentic musicianship?
Yes, whereby we have a vampas, the F-sharp organist, like I shared the other time. Authentic musicianship. You just need to do it right. And that's one of the things, the attribute I have for our dad, Daddy Olukoya. Honestly, for trying to bring this idea up here. Honestly. How many of our church leaders ever think of this type? To bring out the lost culture, the lost glory of church music in general. And the worst part of it is the Pentecostal church. Once you are able to play chord, they have a name for themselves, keyboardists.
Okay, well, since our focus is still on the organ, definitely we'll come back to all the new generation. But right now, we are focusing on the organ culture now. So let's go back to the pipe organ, the tuning at St. John Aroloya. So at what point, you were part of the tuning process?
Yeah.
So, and you said the process followed a rigorous pattern.
Very rigorous.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
because during the tuning process, there was perfect silence.
In the night. Because they want to avoid the ecosystem.
And one thing I learned from Mr. Mike, the chief tuner, the representative of Ayorinde organ farm in England, the man is so sensitive about if anything drop, he will ask you to start all over again.
Wow.
Especially anytime we are tuning the mixture, and each of the manual has its own mixture pipe. And a mixture pipe can have about 5 speaking pipes for one note, and you have to tune them one by one in order to get your perfect pitch.
Wow. Then from so you have more like an insider perspective in terms of the technicalities of organ, pipe organ.
Generally,
yeah.
Organ.
Okay. So then
pipe organ.
Okay,
please.
pipe organ. So then the point is, you mentioned earlier also the organ, the former organ of St. Jude's Ebutemeta.
Oh.
So what is the difference between these two organs?
The difference between these two organs is nothing but their sound. Sound. The sound is distinct. You need to listen to the two, and compare the sound, either live or recording. Honestly, well, have you ever been privileged to have any service with them?
Yes, before the cathedral, of course. Mr. Showole was the organizer. Yeah, as a young boy, at least on a few occasions when we were still doing the Lagos boy.
Inka Showole assisted Papa S.S. Taiwo.
Okay.
Papa S.S. Taiwo was the first organist before it was called to glory. Before Uncle Yinka now, Showole now took over the choir. Okay. The leadership of the choir. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
And also, I mentioned St. Paul Brefoot, where we had additional section of pipe.
Oh.
Yeah, military trumpet pipe.
Why?
Yes, just to to make the organ more richer in sound, more richer. It was donated by a family then. Yes, and then we added it. We create a bellows for it, another chamber. Yes.
Was this from the organ company you work with locally? What's the name of the
Fayemi and Jones.
the Fayemi and Jones? Okay, in Nigeria it's called
Yeah,
Fayemi
we are
and
able to
Jones.
do that successfully.
Fayemi and Jones.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and this, perhaps, I don't know, I just want to clarify. Or was Fayemi and Jones the first organ technique company in Nigeria or Lagos per se?
Yeah, as far as I know, Papa Fayemi has been around for a while in the early 40s.
40s, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't born then.
Okay.
So, but he has been around. Major organs in Lagos, I think Papa Fayemi knew about it. Yes, about it.
Okay.
Yes. And most of the, can I just quickly
Yes, definitely.
list most of the organ I've been privileged to work with.
Definitely.
I've been privileged to work on Agoja, a Methodist church, now cathedral, under Pa Olatunde Dada.
Okay.
They, like I said, St. Jude, Ebutemeta Church, now a cathedral, under Pa SS Taiwo.
Okay, sorry. There's one thing that is very... sorry to interrupt you. While you are mentioning their name, the organist in charge, please tell us just a brief... Yeah, exactly. It's very important. Just a few lines. Who were they? These are the pioneers, the culture bearers.
Doctor, I don't know how to describe them compared with our own generation. One thing I learned about this Olatunde Dada.
Okay.
Papa Olatunde Dada will be in church 1 hour before the service of Agoja. And anytime there's a program or like choir festival or any major event, he will make sure the organ is serviced. We used to come by himself personally to inform us. He will write the details, the keys, the stuff that needs tuning. If it is a pedal, he will indicate. Oh my God, the man is meticulous.
Wow.
Pa Olatunde Dada, may so rest in perfect peace. We have Pa James Adekunle from Ebutero, ably assisted by Papa James Adekunle to happen to be one of the best. Because I work so much with him and I enjoy the best. Thorough. When you talk of a teacher to the core,
definitely.
Papa Adekunle, a teacher to the core, an organist to the core. Pa James Adekunle, honestly, he is incomparable. And we have, let's go back to the Christ Church Cathedral. We have Obayomi Philip, then assisted by Mama Tolu Oba Jimmy. And at St. Paul Brefoot, we have Akin Martins. Akin Martins. Akin Martins is one of the longest serving organists.
St. Paul Brefoot.
Yes, he joined the church choir at age 5. At age 5. Ably assisted by Dr. S.B.I.J. And at St. John Aroloya, we have Pa Hector Labinjo.
Okay.
Yeah, assisted by Dr. Kayode Okusoya.
Okay, let's pause a bit. Hector Labinjo. Yeah. When was this era? What was the era like, Hector Labinjo?
Yeah, Pa Hector Labinjo has been the old organ. Because I jumped Papa Fayemi in 1970, like I said, and I enrolled as an organ boy or organ technician in 1980. So I know this man very, very, very well. You know, because I was privileged to be among the team that dismantled the old Aroloya pipe organ, and we moved it to Church of Pentecost at Festac Town.
Oh.
Yeah. We installed everything. All this in 1984.
1984.
1984, precisely 40 years.
40 years now.
Yeah, precisely 40 years.
Go. Yeah. Okay, you are mentioning the names. Okay, Hector Labinjo.
Hector Labinjo was the senior organist and choir master then.
Okay.
Very elderly, very, 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 very accurate old man. You need to be at Papa's choir practice session.
Wow.
Very, very disciplined. Very, very disciplined at choir rehearsal. And you need, Baba is beautiful to behold when Baba is playing. And these are my mentor, you know. When Baba sits on the organ, the sitting alone, very, very attractive. Playing, distributing the hand, bringing out the stuff. Oh. Doctor, we have a long way to go.
Okay, thank you
We
so
have
much.
a long way to go.
Then who are the other, you were mentioning some of these names here.
Yes, we have Pa Kobina Krepi. We have, and another one great organist is Pa Oshotuke Johnson.
Where was it?
Yeah, also in Breadfruit.
Breadfruit,
Yeah,
okay.
but very, 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 very elderly. At that stage, Baba can no longer come to church. And then we have Pa Fela Showande, and another great organist is Pa Newton Ladende.
Where?
St. Peter's Church, Faji.
Faji.
Yes, Newton Ladende, and ably assisted by our own Dr. Christopher Kolade.
Christopher Kolade.
So Kolade, the one,
Yeah.
the Cadbury.
Definitely.
Pa Newton Ladende is a unique organ player and a teacher.
I think at this point, we now need to go back to the question, do we have Nigerian Organ School? It's becoming clearer now that we have not only achieved, or we can't just make a Nigerian Organ School a kind of homogeneous school. In fact, we can now talk of Lagos schools, because we have the, like you mentioned, the Mushin, Yaba axis. That's a community.
Yeah.
Then,
let me just quickly come in. Yeah, late Parker Odeoni tried to do something towards that.
Okay.
But age is no more on his side.
how?
When he tried to build up something you just mentioned, in order to redefine
The culture.
Yeah, the culture, especially church organ music. Honestly, the age is no more on his side. And thank God for people like Papa Ajayi, Sir Emeka Nwokedi, and we have the younger generation organists making waves now. We have David Aino, we have Tunde Shoson, we have Sunday Olawo, we have Leye Akinlabi, we have Dapo Kumuide, Abiodun Ojo, Boson Atunda Olutunji Ogunoike, and several of them. All this younger generation, they are our hope. They are our hope, and they are living up to that standard.
Okay. Let's move a bit so as we approach I am interested also in another okay. There's a question here. We'll get to that shortly. Thanks so much, brother Ayo Ajayi. Okay, I think what I also quickly want us to lay out and explain or create a context for is, you mentioned different choir masters and how they are diligent, they are focused in what they do, paying attention to details. Wow, that's quite interesting. But over the years, due to as you have explained, a lot of things have shaped,
Diminished return, doctor.
Definitely. But the point then is, what were these organ traditions? Can you just mention 3 or 4 important, okay, they were doing this and this that defines the idea of organ culture then? What were the things we were doing, at least before, let's say before mid-90s, that you could just mention? They were doing this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it possible to mention a few
I will
things?
tell you. The basic thing
That defines the organ culture at the time,
yes.
particularly in Lagos.
Yes. What really defines organ culture is a commitment, discipline, and the passion.
Passion, 3.
And secondly, the orientation.
Oh, what is this orientation then?
The orientation then was the kind of the independence given to them by the church.
Okay.
Authority.
In terms of
artistic. In terms of freedom. Okay, you are the choir master. Whatever you say is fine. Then nobody dare argue with organist and choir master. Then, but not now.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, as we mentioned earlier, the question around what defines Nigerian Organ School has been established, but the content of these layers, multiple layers of these Nigerian organ schools, is what we are exploring. And this is just the first out of many that we are going to have. But while we are still engaging this, we still have Prof. K here. Yeah. Let's move to the last section of this particular area. Then the question is then, what are the crucial components of the organ? Okay, we've talked about crucial components. Yeah. Or let's dwell a bit more about, because it's very important to lay the foundation of organ playing in your own view, your own upbringing, your orientation. What are the components that, okay, as an organist in today's world or at the time, these were the crucial components that an organist must embody as an organist in Nigeria that shaped that culture? What were they?
Thank you very much. Availability of information.
How?
Good. We don't have material during our own time because with the advent of internet now, I remember vividly in the 1984-85, Doctor, do you believe that I traveled all the way from Lagos down to Ibadan to go and get just a tune brandy bunch? Because then, tune brandy bunch, I don't even remember the tune. Pa, 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 pa. You know, because the books are not readily available. All the materials are not readily available. It is just one photocopy to another. And the few that have this book are not ready to release it. So these are one of the major issues then.
Resources now.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
Materials, yeah.
Material. We don't have, excuse me, we don't have it. But with your laptop, you can easily download whatever on your fingertip, on your phone, or with your laptop, whatever information you need. Just Google it, and you get the end result. But in our own time, nothing like that. You'll be looking for a particular chant, particular tune, particular anthem.
You need to travel there.
You need to travel.
Okay.
A friend asked me to come because he told me he cannot release his book unless I need to come down to Ibadan to do the photocopy. Then after the photocopy done, you have to share. You understand?
Yeah.
So these are the challenges we have then.
Wow. Okay, it's quite. Although yes, now we are getting to the real point. Apart from the playing, there are other subcultures, you know, which you alluded to right now. Then the point then is. Okay, don't worry. Okay, friends, I can see your questions. We are getting there shortly. Please hold on for a while. Let's unpack this for all of us so we can engage, you know, at the same level here. So what we are doing here is just to open layers of conversation. Then definitely you are invited. It's part of the project, yeah, to contribute to it. So then the point is, apart from having an established school of thought, different practice, different layers, which we are still going to explore with other, practitioners in this series, you mean the idea of resources is also very political in the sense that there were no materials, and those who have it have a way of, what were these, or what are these culture like in terms of culture of sharing? Was there anything like that?
The culture of sharing was not too friendly.
How?
Too friendly in the sense that, I cannot give my book, my material to somebody I don't know. And as such, it debars you to practice when you don't have the materials. And our library here is nothing to write home about. Then in those days, you need to go to the British Library to borrow books. But Nigerian way of doing things, you borrow books, they won't return it. So these are the challenges we have then. But thank God for the internet. Immediately we have internet. I think so. That is why the present generation have no excuse, and that's why I mentioned to you, Doctor, we need training and retraining and training and retraining to get to the stardom. And how can we get to the stardom? You need to improve yourself on daily basis.
The question is, do we still have mentors? Like my good brother is asking here, Ayo Ajayi is asking us, let's perhaps quickly open it further from his question, that do we still have proper organs in the country? Then the other question is, another layer to that question is that do we still have mentors, organists, mentors in the country?
Let me just answer the two questions. Well, not all churches can afford good organ now. Yes, I was at one church at Ibadan recently. Ibadan. And if you see the way they build this cubicle for a keyboard,
Oh.
I was thinking it was a pipe organ. I have never seen such a cubicle built for a keyboard in my life. And you know, with my curiosity, I tried to manage to move to the organist side to see the type of organ they are using. So that's one thing. On getting there, I found that it was a keyboard.
Keyboard.
PSR something.
Package in the box.
Package in the box. And you know, they package it, you know. And the mentor, it depends on individual. What did I say? It depends on the individual.
Okay.
Whoever you want to be your mentor, you move closer to that person. Yeah, we still have few of them around. Although some age is no more on their side to play, but you still go to them for consultation.
Okay.
Yes. I remember Papa died years back, Papa Denton. Papa happened to be a federal music inspectorate of music. You know, anytime I have issue with music, I paid him a visit. Papa will download everything for me. This is how you go, this is how you go. But I don't think the present generation have such people anymore.
In terms of mentorship,
yes,
directly.
I still visit Uncle Yinka Showole. He's very advanced in age now. He retired recently from Barefoot Church. It was well celebrated.
I think that's another interesting point. Do we still have access to these old, luminaries, veterans?
We still have them. You need to look out for them. You need to look out for
Are
them.
the younger ones inviting them? That's another question. Are they welcome?
Well, like I said, it depends on the individual. You know, like Yoruba will say, you that need their resources, their information, it is you that will go to them.
Okay.
You can't expect your mentor to be coming to you. You look out for your mentor.
Okay. I am going to quickly move to the
In music, you need a mentor. In every aspect of music.
Definitely.
Not necessarily on organ playing alone.
Yeah.
Whatever instrument you find yourself,
Definitely.
you must get a mentor.
I'm quickly going to move to the last session so we can open for our colleagues and brothers and friends online.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Then the last one is, at least since, let's say, early 2000, we have entered a new era of organ culture in Nigeria. I'm talking about digital organ, how will I put it now? The emergence of new forms of organ, digital organ, different form. And by 2010, 2011, by 2012, we've had series of versions, new, vendors were emerging already. And today, we already have layers of stories in that area. What do you think about this new culture in relation to the tradition that shaped you in the 70s and the 80s?
Thank you very much, Dr. My wonderful moderator. Well, this area you will permit me because of the advent of digital organ in Nigeria. Rather than doing us good, it's doing us bad.
How?
Yeah, the warfare among the vendors, the warfare, it's a real warfare, and I don't want to go too much on that. And the kind of brand each brings
on board
to the country, well, there are more to it. Like I said, I don't want to go too much. But the only thing I will just say, just improve yourself. The reason why I'm saying all this, our churches are not helping the matter. Yes, because when you, like the Yoruba will say, a blind man leading a blind man. When you set up an organ committee or choir committee, they are musically literate elements, and you now appoint them to be in that committee. What do you expect? The truth needs to be told. What do you expect? And that is the issue. There's a particular church in Lagos mainland. I won't mention the name. Up till now, they cannot use their organ with electricity.
Oh.
Yes, the committee then, they sent them to Britain to go and look for a befitting organ. They go elsewhere. So by the time they now come back with an organ, they now found that the voltage of the organ they bought is not the same thing
as the local
Nigerian. Up to now, anytime they want to use the organ, in fact, they have to get a special generator for the organ. If I thought that we have electricity NEPA light.
In a special generator.
I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this.
Then the question then, I think this is important, and like I said, we will continue, the exploration, is not a kind of close-ended one. We are only opening it today for, further exploration. Then the point is, this new organ culture, do you think, or I think the first one is, do you think, as of today in Nigeria, what is the need for pipe organ? Do you think we can still afford it? We can still maintain it? Or are they still needed, considering the new layers of product, sampling, digital, manifestations around us in terms of organ product, vendors, companies, and new guys, trying to, manage and championing this new culture?
You've said it all, Doctor. Manifestation of organ culture of pipe organ. There are three interwoven things. You see, it's unfortunate the coming generation. The last pipe organ I witnessed was in Cathedral.
Okay.
And another one at our Savior's Church. Pipe organ. And thereafter, did you ever hear anything like pipe organ again? So that's to tell you the era is gradually fading away. Yes, out of oblivion. Yes,
Can we go back? Do you think we can revive that culture or era of pipe
except
organ?
by grace, because with grace there's not. With God, all things are possible.
Okay.
I won't write it off.
Okay.
Because anything can happen. With God, all things are possible.
But with the new organ culture, the new
digital
what is the future?
With the advent in the market, you bring your own, I brought my own,
What do you think about this?
I doubt it.
And what is the new future in terms of sustaining the organ school in Nigeria or the organ culture? What is your take in terms of this new manifestation of digitalization in the organ space, in the church space, in the soundscape?
My take on that is to implore all these vendors.
Okay.
Yes, to bring in quality brand.
How?
Quality brand. Quality brand in the sense of the instruments they brings in. I want to sell my market. You want to sell your market. They just bring all kind of instruments. And Nigeria is an open market where everybody, honestly, and and churches, like I said, they always like to go for cheaper things.
Okay.
And that is why this issue of maintaining this organ culture cannot work.
Then what is the organ community doing about this? I noticed there's a
the organ community,
the organ association of organists in Nigeria. I think there's a body which is very strong in Lagos.
Body, we have several of them.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are working on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a bona fide member. And
is there any policy template to manage the assets?
We are yet to go to that level.
Okay, in terms of policy, monitoring, quality assurance.
We are yet to go to that level. But we are on it, like I said. And definitely, we shall surely get there. We shall surely get there. Like it's an open market. You have your money. You can use your money to buy whatever you like, but not minding the consequence. Who is to use it? And that is why it is paramount for the body for organists.
Yeah.
Oh, what type of instrument are you playing? like you rightly said, that policy needs to be formed. By the time the Association of Organists, Guild of Organists,
Organist, yeah.
you know, we post it to the church. Are you getting my point?
Yes, definitely.
So these are the things you should look out for whenever you want to buy the organ. Not just going to any vendor anyhow. I want to sell my own, I want to sell my own. You know, I told you from the onset, it's a very, very sensitive area.
Space.
Very, very sensitive area. Because everybody wants to sell their market.
Because you mentioned it, I think you summarized it, it's actually a free market.
It's a free market.
And it is actually
a free market, a free world.
It's actually mimicking the, the European capitalism, or what we can call the global capitalism, which is a
global capitalism.
Yeah, the neoliberal capitalist economy, which enables free movement, free performance, asymmetric power relations. So I think there's an interesting movement here now, conversation. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, from my own perspective, we can talk about, we've been able to harness the idea, the foundation, one of the early foundations of Nigerian organ culture. One of them is what we call the ammonium.
The ammonium organ.
Then the ammonium organ also manifests based on the economic capacity of churches, levels. Then we move to the organ, the pipe, particular for today. Then, even for the pipe, there are layers of practice, there are schools of thought.
Category by category.
Yeah, categories, layers. Today, we've been able to outline the Mushin Yaba Aziz. Ebute Meta, that's another school of thought, going to Ebute down to Christchurch Marina. In the coming series, we are going to map others within Lagos, Akure, Ibadan, Oyo,
Southwest
the Southwest in general. I know about the Omofe School of Thought. Elisha, we are waiting for that. But for today, to come back to the point again, we also have another culture that emerged in the pre-digital organ culture, which is the keyboard in that big cubicle. Yeah, that's quite interesting.
Honestly.
Yeah, the keyboard in that big cubicle.
Beautiful cubicle.
And when you go there, they'll tell you that's our organ. When you go there, you see the keyboard, PSR 650, PSR 720. I remember this. Yeah, I was part of that. I remember this. Then from there, we move into the new era, the early 20,000, where we have the emergence of the Vicant, the different formations. Then we move to Joannos. From Joannos, we move to different layers.
Rogers organ.
Yeah, the Rogers.
Allen's organ.
Allen. But today now,
organ.
Today we are not talking about digital organ now. Yeah. We have different, and I must say, we have traveled so far in terms of trajectory development. But the question to your last point is that can we manage it? Can we manage it? How do we manage it? Can the Guild of Organists help in this way? Because I think it's a big market. It's an interesting market. It's a big economy.
Sir,
it's a big economy,
indeed. It is indeed a big market. But one area we advise also improve on our maintenance culture. So that this will give us the enablement to manage it effectively.
Okay, at this point, thank you so much. At this point, I'd like us to open to our friends online. We've seen we have series of, the conversation is already going from the chat section. And I'm happy that some of you are concerned, and I thank you for contributing to this important series and this particular dialogue. So we are opening the platform. Please, you are free. Come up with your idea, follow up ideas, question for our guest today, Prof. K. Yeah, I'm sure some of it's a common phenomenon, and it's been an interesting journey with him today and trying to explore the organ culture from his perspective. So you are free. Kindly raise your hand from the emoji and can mute yourself to ask your question or your contribution.